Hey guys, I hope everybody is doing it's having a great day or a great morning. It is nice here in Georgia. I'm going to get outside and I hope you guys get a chance to get out depending on what the weather is in your city. But we are talking love and hip hop Atlanta because we need to discuss this Rasheeda and Kirk situation because we know Rasheeda gonna stick beside him. But what is going on with this deadbeat dad situation between him and Jasmine, honey? We going to talk about this.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Now, if you guys have been watching, Love and Hip Hop, you already know Rasheeda and Kirk been together forever, and she gonna stick beside him no matter what. If you know that, you know that Kurt had a child outside of his marriage with Rasheeda. The baby's name is Cannon. But now Jasmine is like a cast member or something on the show. And now what we're learning is that Jasmine wants to take Kurt to court for child support. So we began seeing this scene here. I'm looking at my notes. But let me just explain to y'all what was disturbing about this scene because we know Rasheeda and Kurt, they're not broke. But the fact that Kurt has a child outside of his marriage, and we know, they don't live in a little bitty house, that Cannon never had a bedroom. So we saw them fixing up a room or putting a room together because what Rasheeda said is Cannon, he never had a room. And when he came over, he was in, Carter's room, which made me wonder, you guys have the space. Obviously, because you were now able to create him a room. So it just makes me wonder, like, why didn't that boy have a room at y'all house when he come over? Now, if you didn't have the space, that's different. But we know that you have a younger son named Carter, and then you have, your husband. That's 2 bedrooms right there. So you couldn't make a bed for Carter. Just made me think. Well, listen to this. The reason why now they have a bedroom for Carter is because Kurt wants to get custody. I'm sorry. The reason why they have a bedroom for Cannon, these K's and these C's, is because Kurt wants to get custody of Cannon. And my first question was, you ain't even have a bedroom for him, but you had to get one because you wanted to get custody. Well, it gets more interesting because the reason that Kurt is going to get custody or seeking custody is because Jasmine filed for child support. So it seems like they did not have a child support order in place, which, some people don't have it if it works out between them. Usually people go for the child support order when they fear for, they are not going to, get the financial support from you. They got to keep calling you, is inconsistent. Now, we know that Jasmine said that Kurt was trying to sleep with her and was pretty much like, look, I'll give you whatever as long as you give me some of that, which Kurt said it wasn't true. Well, here's the deal. Do Rasheeda really want this baby in her house? Because I get the feeling that Rasheeda accepts it, but I don't really get the feeling that she really, mess with that baby like that. I mean, I'm just going off of what I feel. And in all honesty, if your man or your husband cheat on you and go outside your relationship and have a child, you should, I guess you should leave them if you don't accept the child, because the child is innocent. That baby has nothing to do with what happened between Kirk and his mama. Well, here's the deal. Kirk wants to get custody for Cannon because he said pretty much Jasmine is never satisfied and continues to ask him for money. And we're going to get to that point. We are going to get to that point. But my question to Kurt is, you slept with a woman while you was married. I don't know what the situation was between him and Jasmine. Jasmine is saying she didn't know he was married. Let's say she did know he was married. What did you expect? So, Kirk, I know I really don't want to hear that, because you went outside your marriage and had a baby, and now you complaining that the girl keep asking you for money. I don't know, because with kids, it's always money. You need money for this. So maybe what she's asking for is truly legitimate, but the fact that you don't have a child support order in place, and that now she's going to court for child support where you will have to pay more, now you want to get custody. So it really makes it seem that you are only seeking child support. I'm sorry, you are only seeking custody of this child because you don't want to pay her child support. Now, Cannon, I believe, is 8 years old. So you want to take a child from his mama, and he gonna be what, 9 years old, because you don't want to pay child support. Now, if this is what you're doing, Kirk, I don't like you either, because you shouldn't go and stick your little wiener in stuff if you can't deal with the repercussions. I don't want to hear nothing about Jasmine is a gold digger. I don't care what Jasmine is. You were married when you went out and did what you did. You're not done by far, because you and your wife have multiple businesses. So you understand that you need money to live in this world. Now let's get on Rasheeda, because Rasheeda, I don't like you either, because here's the deal. Your man, your husband went out and had another baby. And from the calculation, it appears that y'all giving this girl $1,000 a month. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Even if she had a job, $1,000 a month is not enough. So the fact, Rasheeda, that you bitter somewhere in there because your man cheated on you and you want to take it out on Jasmine and her innocent child is absolutely pathetic. Is absolutely pathetic. So Rasheeda basically says that, Jasmine is a bad mother because she's not able, or she doesn't have whatever the money she needs to take care of her son. Jasmine is the same woman that your husband stuck his penis in when he was married to you. So the fact that you want to throw Jasmine under the bus when she the same woman that your husband slept with, I don't like that either. I don't like that either. I feel like what's fair is fair. Nobody can survive off of $1,000 a month. Even if Jasmine got a job, which I was told that she actually does have a job, you need to take care of your child. And $2,000 a month simply is not going to, that's just not going to, it's not going to work. Now, in this particular sit down, Jasmine tells her mom, and this guy's name is Rod. Now, originally, people were saying that Rod was actually the father of Jasmine's baby, but he's not. Apparently, he was with her during the time she was, seeking, the paternity and everything with Kirk. But what we did learn is that Rod has been taking care of Kurt's son, including spending time with them, being at, events and things like that. So it seems like from a collective, what they're saying is, Kurt, you just ain't there for your baby. Now, we saw on the blogs that your child got dropped off and couldn't get in. Why come the child couldn't go to your house? It is clearly some kind of friction still between your wife, because it seems like she's still mad that you have a baby with another woman, but it seems like she should take that anger out on you. But what all these people agreed to is that Kirk don't spend time with his child. What Rod has stated is that Cannon calls him dad. So your baby is calling another man dad, but you want to go and get custody of him. I don't like that. Now, listen, Kurt, you had a baby outside of your marriage. That is an innocent child. Be the father that you're supposed to be. If your wife don't want your baby around, you still need to act like a man and take care of your child. At the end of the day, that baby is going to grow up and it's going to be hurt because you was not doing what you were supposed to do. So what they all agreed to is that Kurt just does not take care of his child. I mean, taking care of your child isn't always providing a few dollars. And we're going to get into that too, because what we want to talk about is how much really did Kirk provide, because Kirk makes it seem like he's providing all of this money for Jasmine. But if you guys really pay attention, if you do the calculation, it could not be that much, because if it was, he would not be suing her for custody, because y'all, maybe some of y'all have heard or even been through this personally. When some men have money that they just don't want to give you, you know, it could be that you didn't do what they say. It could be you don't want them no more. You know, in this situation, Jasmine said that Kirk was trying to solicit her and she just don't want it. She just want the money that she needs to take care of her child. Now, all of a sudden, you want custody. Why didn't you get custody a long time ago? You knew the situation. You knew all of this. So I guess it was easier if you had a baby over here and Jasmine let you hit it whenever you wanted to. Maybe, just maybe, because she's not with it no more, now you want custody, which I do not understand that particular situation. So we definitely, or they all agree that Kirk is just simply not doing what he's supposed to do. So I can understand why she would want the proper amount of child support. You guys are on Love and Hip Hop. You are, you know, you got restaurants, you got stores. That woman can get more than $1,000. Like, it is what it is. And the fact that Rasheeda is going along with this is really, really dirty, nasty work. Now, what we also learned is Rod actually spoke with Kirk. And I believe what they're saying when they say Kirk is just not around. He is just not a part of that child's life, because Rod told him this to his face. He said, listen, I helped raise Cannon. I took care of Cannon. Simply, you are just not there. Now, what we learned is, though, Kirk showed his cash app. He showed these receipts and was like, I sent her money on this date, this date, this date. And it made it look real, real good. Like, Jasmine, girl, you lying, girl, because he has all these receipts that say he gave you all of this money, but yet you are asking for more. And what I did is I brought out my old calculator here. So what Kirk said on the episode is that he gave about $205,000, I believe, and that is a lot of money. But if you do the math, $205,000 divided by 96 months, because the baby is about 8. That is roughly $2,100 a month. Okay, so it really made it seem like Kirk was giving a lot of money, but in all actuality, Kirk, you ain't gave SHIT. You, even if you giving this woman $2,000 a month, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. And also, Jasmine said that Kirk had the audacity to say that she doesn't need more than $1,000 a month for child support. I'm just shaking my head, because it is really sad that Rasheeda, Kirk's wife, would even entertain the thought of that. To think that, wait a minute, she don't think it because she works multiple jobs. So let's just be clear. Rasheeda knows that $1,000, $2,000 a month is not enough to take care of a child, because, you know, maybe she want, you know, her son to go to a private school. I mean, you are a reality star. Why would she want her child to go to a regular school? So public school is about the $2,000 or probably more than that a month. But the fact of the matter is that you would create a child and then punish the child for your poor choices and your poor behavior. And then you got Rasheeda that is going to go along with it because she really has disdain for the child, because she don't like the fact that you actually went out and created a child. Okay. And here we got Rasheeda that is really, really mad because of, you know, he created this child outside of their marriage. So what I want to show y'all now is, and this is pretty much what I said, you know, Kurt talked about, I gave her 205,000 and look, I gave her 4,000 for this. I gave her this for that, that for that. At the end of the day, if you do the math, he gave her about $2,100 a month is what it really boils down to, because what he's doing is she may, get $4,000 one month, but you ain't gave her nothing in 2 months. So if you do the math, it just really comes to about that much. So let's get into what Rod said, because essentially what we saw was a very short snippet of him and Kurt's conversation. And this is what Rod is saying. Now, keep in mind, Rod is Jasmine's ex-boyfriend and also the guy who was taking care of Cannon, okay? And just look how Kurt is sitting down with a man that's not even married to Jasmine, but an ex-boyfriend. That kind of goes to show the real relationship that Kurt actually has with his own child. So this is what Rod said. I want to make one thing clear. My conversation with Kurt was 2 hours long. I talked about Kurt not being present and how Jazz has taken care of Cannon mainly by herself with a lot of help from me. And this was in the first 6 years of his life. I talked about me being there from day one, never missing any important events and treating Cannon like my own. They used none of it. So what he's saying is the conversation between him and Kurt was 2 hours. They didn't use any of that. So none of that was used. So what he is saying is they only used 2-second cut of him actually catching me off guard with what he said he spent. Okay. And even after that, I said Jazz would never spend any money that was for Cannon. So get this. And this is what I said. If Kurt is saying, if he looks at his cash apps, he gave her about $205K. Now, if you divide that by 96 months, which is the amount of time that the child has been alive, it is roughly $2K per month. It just sounds crazy when he said $205K. Now, I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, for Kurt to say, I done gave her $205K, that is a lot. But we got to think here. He not just giving her $200K a month. This is what he's saying he contributed to his son's existence in life. And if you divide that over the months that the child has been born, that's really not a lot, because keep in mind, child support takes into consideration your income. Now, the Georgia laws are very different than those laws of California. So what that means is, let's say Kurt and Rasheeda made $2 million. I don't know what them folks make. I'm just saying, let's just say they did. Georgia law will give her enough to take care of the child, but it's not going to be like $30,000 a month. Not like California, because Georgia uses a different calculation for child support. So let's say Kurt and Rasheeda made a whole bunch of money, and let's say Jasmine went to court and said, well, I don't have a job anymore. So she would probably get like $8,000 a month, because they would say, well, you don't have a job. So, the calculations for this, and then you go to, the child goes to, private school. So they would say, okay, well, you can get $8,000 a month. Let's say Jasmine went to court and said, well, I work and I make about $5,000 a month. Then the court may say, oh, you make $5,000. So then we'll give you $3,000 for the child. So everything is contingent upon what she actually makes, which other, jurisdictions are a little bit different. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how they calculate it, but I know Georgia is very much different. So I did not like this particular episode, because that Rasheeda or Kirk just really did not consider that child. Everything they said was against Jasmine, but I'm just like, boy, you had a baby by Jasmine. Like, she was not any different. You were cheating on your wife. Like, what did you expect to get when you were doing this? But the fact to try to make it seem as if it's about money, and it could have been about money, but the fact here is Kurt, you're not paying her anything. So you paying her $2,000 a month. Can you live on $2,000 a month? So if you can't live on $2,000 a month, how do you expect your child would live on it? We're living in different days. These kids go to private school, even athletics and things like that, even the lunches. So how do you expect her to be able to raise a child on $2,000 a month? So like I said, I just didn't like that. And I thought it was really foul for Rasheeda to actually call this woman pretty much a loser, is what she said, as if she wanted money, money, money. And I'm just like, I don't know a parent, any parent that don't want money, money, because you need it for your kids. But don't make it seem like Kirk is overcompensating her, because that is a lie from hell, and he is not paying the correct amount. Because the fact that he gave her $205,000 over 96 months is roughly about $2,000 a month, and he's not even paying her that every month. So it looks like she's only getting money when she reach out and asks, which is very good that she's actually going to court, because now she will get child support. But what about you all trying to get custody of the baby simply because you do not want to pay child support? It's really ugly, and it's really, really nasty work. Rasheeda, how would you like if somebody, or if that happened to you? Let's say you and Kirk got a divorce, which we know will never happen, honey, because you ain't never gonna leave no matter what he did. But let's say Kirk went with somebody else and he wanted to split custody and your child was removed. I think it's ugly, and I think it's nasty work, Rasheeda. And I think this is your way to try to get back at Jasmine, because you still mad, you bitter, and you're angry because your man cheated on you, which don't got nothing at all to do with Jasmine. You need to go see your man about what he did, okay?